welcome. Let us go over completing the square, graphing, and factoring. We're going to talk about 3 different ways to find the roots of quadratic equations today. Okay? So here's the number talk. Let's move on. Here we go. Today we're doing a quadratic review activity. We're going to start up here. Let's see if we can get this to work. Okay. Here's our equation. It's a quadratic equation. And let's fill in what we can already. What's A? 1. What's B? -6. What's C? 8. Does this equation open up or down? This equation opens up. Is the vertex going to be a min or a max? Let's draw it out. If it opens up, it's got a min. What's the y-intercept? Remember how we talked about that? The y-intercept is C. So this is 8. Find the axis of symmetry using this equation. You should know this equation by now. X equals -b over 2a. So x equals the opposite of b over 2 times a. Now I'm going to put in my b, -6. I'm going to put in my a, which is 1. So I end up with +6 over 2, which is the same thing as 3. Okay. Find the vertex by plugging number 1 into the original equation. So our vertex is going to be a point. The first part of it is going to be 3. That's the x-coordinate. Okay. Let's go ahead and plug 3 into the equation. So let me make the skeleton of the equation right here. I'm going to have x squared minus 6 times x plus 8. Let me plug in 3. 3 goes here and here, everywhere x was. Now I get 9 minus 18 plus 8. What's the best way to combine these 3? I think I'll just do it easy. This becomes -9 plus 8. And now -9 plus 8 is -1. So -1 goes right here. All right, let me erase this since it kind of got into my graph. All right, so for the vertex, we'll put the vertex in right here. We've got to go 2 points up and 2 points down on the x-coordinate, on the x-axis. So we're going to go to 4 and 5, 2 and 1. Let's plug in 4. One more time, I'm going to put my skeleton out there first. X squared minus 6 times x plus 8. Let's plug in 4. I end up with 16 minus 24 plus 8. Well, here's an easy thing to do. Think of adding the positives first. 16 plus 8 is 24. So we end up with a 0. So 4 is the same thing as 0. That's one of our roots. Let's try it with 2 just to confirm. We're going to have x squared minus 6 times x plus 8. We plug in 2. We should end up with 4 minus 12 plus 8. And just the same as before, 4 plus 8 is 12 minus 12 is 0. It works out perfectly. All right. Let's try 5. Let me go back there. We'll put in a black. going to become x squared minus 6 times x plus 8. Let's plug in 5. 5 squared is 25 minus 30 plus 8. That's going to be negative 5 plus 8, which is positive 3. Now let's just double check the other point just to make sure that it's correct, that we didn't make any mistakes. So we put in 1 and 1. We end up with 1 minus 6 plus 8. Okay, well, 1 and 8 is 9. So 9 minus 6, 3. Time to graph. We go to 3, negative 1. We go to 2, 0. We've got 4, 0. 1, 3. 5, 3. We actually have one more point we can put in, because remember, we found that the y-intercept is 8. So we know the graph is going to cross right there. Up it goes. And let's just confirm. Do we in fact have a min the way we thought we would? Yes, we do. All right, let's try another problem together. Oh, sorry, we're not done yet. Now that we've already found the roots by graphing, let's go back. The roots were 2 and 4 by graphing. Let's see if we can find the same roots by factoring. So we go to x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. How do we factor something like that? We've got 8x squared minus 6x. Let's see, let's do minus 4x minus 2x. Put it in the box. X squared, 8 minus 4x minus 2x minus 2x, x minus 4. All right, so when we factor this, we get x minus 4 times x minus 2 equals 0. And now I've kind of run out of room, so let me skip down here. I can say that either x minus 4 equals 0 or x minus 2 equals 0. Solving for x, let me add 4 to both sides. Let me add 2 to both sides in this equation. We end up with x equals 2 or x equals 4, just what we thought we would. All right, let's try it by completing the square. If we're completing the square, first step is to move the constant term over to the other side. So let's write x squared minus 6x equals negative 8. And now I know, let's figure out what our c value should be. Here's my x squared. I split those negative 6x's in half. I need 9 for my c. So now I've got x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals negative 8 plus 9. I've got x minus 3 squared equals 1. I take the square root of both sides. And if I do that, I have x minus 3 equals 1, or x minus 3 equals negative 1. I add 3 to both sides. Of both equations, I end up with x equals 4 or x equals 2. Same answer. We need to mark them on the graph. Let's do it. equals 4, x equals 2. X equals 4, x equals 2. All right, let me start you off. You know what I'm going to do, actually? I think what I'll do is pause the recording now. I'm going to fill in the next couple problems. So what you can do is take a look, try and do this on your own, and then restart. All right, take a look at these answers. Make sure that you got the A, B, and C right. That opens up, min, y-intercept is 4. Down here, we make sure that our y-intercept is 4 and that it is a min. Axis of symmetry is -2. Vertex is -2, 0. There's just one root. Here's my coordinates. Let's go on to the next page. Okay. See if you can figure this out, and then pause the recording and check your answers against mine. All right, when you factor, I noticed that this was a perfect square trinomial. When I factored it, I got x plus 2 squared equals 0. There's only one root because both of the factors are identical. Same thing with completing the square. I don't even have to complete the square because it's already a perfect square trinomial. Here's my answer. All right, once again, take a look at this. Pause the video, and then compare your answers to mine. All right, take a look at my work here. Did you end up with -4 is your axis of symmetry, 4, -1, -4, -1 is your vertex? Here are my coordinates. Your y-intercept is 15. Can you see it's not actually going to cross until way up here? All right, let's go on to the next page. Take a look at this, pause the video, do your work, and then compare it to mine. All right, take a look at this. Does that match what you got? Good. All right, I think what I will do right now is let's go over here to the closure. Here's the closure for Thursday. What is the first step when solving the following? Okay, it's already factored for us. How many factors do we have? We have 3. 1, 2, 3. So the first step in factoring is going to be set each factor equal to 0. So your first step should look like this. Good? All right, good luck with all this.